you. Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. Let me acknowledge Minister Ed Bartlett, who is not a stranger to, I'm not going to go through everything here, but Ed was the first politician I really knew as a young person. He was the member of parliament for Eastern St. Andrew, and I lived in Hope Pasture, so I met him when I was about 10, so he was really the first politician I met. But then he left here and went to the west. Um, but him is a good man, you know. Him is a good man. That's all I'll say. Let me acknowledge the mayor, who is the councillor for the Vineyard Town Division. Let me acknowledge the councillor for the Trafalgar Division, Jesse James Clark, the TPD team led by Wade. Wade is also not a stranger to these areas. Lionel, I don't really see you, but Wade is a regular over at Swallowfield. Alan, who is representing the Sports Development Foundation. I don't believe Cement Company is here, but I'll explain the role they played, and the Mussons Foundation. And all the community members, the Nannyville Basic team, the residents, and everybody who is here. Let me just give you a little history as to how we got here, and it's been a long journey. And sometimes people see it, and when everybody see it, everybody say them want it, but them kind of understand how we got here, and it took probably 4 years to get here. So we had a football field here, and the challenge with, and let me acknowledge, from the community, we have some football people here. Well, me say Color son, Stanley Jr., Dickey was here, Nicole is here with her little charges. The challenge with any football field without access to well water, you can't sustain the grass. It's just as simple as that. And so the field existed for a long time, but eventually it becomes a dust bowl. And you can't sustain it using NWC water because it's just prohibitively expensive to continue to water the field. So we recognized that we needed a solution beyond the grass field that was there. So probably we're in 2025, from probably about 2020, I said I wanted to put a turf field here. Now the TPDCO provides, I should say what you provide to each MP, or I'm going to get in trouble. TPDCO does an annual program for members of parliament. And, spruce up, all right. I have to leave something for you to say, you know, all right? So they do that, and decided that I would use the funds from that. Accountingly can't really be done this way, but I deferred my expenditure so we could have enough money to put the turf down. Testing, to put the turf down. And so what you see here, as simple as it looks, is pretty expensive to do, because in addition to the surface, you have to prepare the surface, which means going, Stefan, about a foot down, put in shingle, a whole set of things so that it can be sustainable. So I realized that we needed to have a surface which would be sustainable. And let me acknowledge, Alan is here from SDF. He wasn't the executive director at the time, but when I reached out to SDF was the first entity that provided the funding so that we could get the turf. And the turf itself was $5 million to acquire. So I want to thank SDF for that investment, which got us the turf. And then after getting the turf, now we needed the funding to install it. This is where TPDCO came on board. And I want to thank the TPDCO team, Stefan, who is here from Professional Sports Services, who has been a partner in this entire journey. What you see here represents what I'd call the first phase. We have a different mic, because this thing, I don't know if it's batteries, but it keeps tripping out. The first phase of what we want to do. And I just want to explain what the vision of this is. So part of the reason when I thought about turf, I have a son who plays football, so I know the turf fields. You have Ballers, you have Shortwood, you have Duns up at Red Hills Road, but there's really nothing on this side of the corporate area, the eastern side of the corporate area. And Barbican, yes, Barbican would be the biggest one. And so I felt it would not just be an opportunity for the community, but it would be a way of bringing communities along Mountain View and the Eastern Belt together. And so what you see here now, and it's been operational for a little while, represents the beginning of what I would call uniting people. And people of different persuasions. So Ed will know that side is the strongest side for the persons on that side. Over here would represent the stronger side for people on this side. And Mountain View has had challenges, and this for me represents an opportunity to bring Mountain View together and for people to play football. It has already helped within the community in bringing people together from top and bottom, but it has the scope to be much broader than that and to not just be a football field, but a place for entertainment beyond football. And that's really the vision of where I want this space to go. Now, when I started, I reached out to cement company, and the walking track that you see around was installed and donated by Carib Cement Company. So in their absence, I want to thank them and big them up for doing that. And it is serving the purpose because people come out here early in the morning and actually walk on it. And so it has helped in terms of providing a platform for people to do exercise. And those are generally the older persons who have been using it. I recognize in doing it, if you do something good, you also disrupt other activities. So the community has always had a sports day around Heroes Weekend. And so it has disrupted it somewhat, but we're trying to figure out how we can ensure that the sports day where people are running around a track can still be incorporated into what we have here. So the field, TPDCO put in with, I think, about 15 million somewhere around there to do the surface and everything else that you see on top of what SDF has. So I want to thank TPDCO for the lion's share of the funding to get this to where it is. The other stakeholders, the Mussons Foundation, who was mentioned, having put in the field, we wanted to have the nets around it so that when you kick the ball, it don't. And we have had issues where the man kicked ball and broke buoy window over there, but we had to put the net around it and to put the light poles there. So we got support from the Mussons Foundation to do that. So where we are, what you see here represents about 4 or 5 years of work, planning. Andre, you would know, because long time we've been going on this journey to get here. And it's important that we maintain it. Very important. It actually is the envy of every other MP. In fact, I can say this. When Donovan Williams saw it, that's why he decided to do it. And I can say that. He came to me and he asked me what I was doing. And it's not what he has, if this is the gold standard, him have something a little bit below it, right? But it is what it is. But I know every MP has the desire to have something like this, because if you have a grass field without access to water, you're going to run into the same challenge. So for me, let me thank the stakeholders who made this possible. We internally within the community have some work to do to ensure that we have a proper structure to keep it the way it is. The vision is to make sure night football play here, and you'll see some solar lights, which I want to big up Burwise, and I don't see NU where NU is, because you and him soon come. All right, him going to come when it's done. But they voluntarily put those lights up. They're not, solar lights are not the best for projecting this, but I've been in touch with Alan, and Alan said out of China, you can get some really bright solar lights that can make a difference, because I didn't want to go the JPS route of having those lights, because ultimately the bill are going to end up with me paying it. So, but the vision is that we can play night football here, and that's where we want to go to. And really to transform the community. We have a nice health center, we have the basic school, we have the community center behind it. It's right on the main to make it a really model community. and to bring the entertainment and everything else in here so that it also helps to generate economic activity. So welcome to Nannyville. Thank you to the stakeholders who have made this possible. What I would say, we are at the end of phase 1, and we're going to go to phase 2 as we build on this and make it happen. Well, thank you and welcome everybody. And let me just give an apology for Major Brown. He's the president of the Calabar Old Boys Association, and he told me they had a Teachers' Day function. But when we got the turf, Major Brown held it over at the stadium, found somewhere to secure it for a good while, and really was very supportive and instrumental. So even though he's not here, I want to big him up for the support that he gave. Thank you.